Before we talk about the Ryde Hunters Hill District Hockey Club, I want to talk a little bit about the Ryde area. The Ryde area is located in the northern suburbs of Sydney. It's about 20 minutes from the Sydney CBD driving. It's an area of about 100,000 people, and it primarily comprises of residential but also high-tech industrial estates. The area here that the ground's at before was a school, and these were mainly green pastures and farming areas. There's been great development of this area over the last 20 years, and this is now Macquarie Park, which is arguably the high-tech capital of Australia. It's a great location for the ground. The rail and bus is very close by. We've got an underground railway system only 200 metres from the ground. We've also got a number of great facilities nearby, one being Macquarie Shopping Centre as well as Macquarie University. The club's history is very rich. The club started in 1934 with the first president, Arthur Young. Back then the club only had one team in C Division in the northern suburbs competition. Very quickly we grew to two teams and a junior competition that was primarily a male competition. But the ground wasn't always here. It was further north at Top Ryde, where we played at Popper East number 2. We also played at Gladesville Hospital for many years. In 1940, the club then had a first grade and second grade team that joined the Metro competition. That was during the war years, so ranks were greatly depleted. In 1950, the Ryde Hockey Club merged with the Hunters Hill Hockey Club to form the Ryde Hunters Hill District Hockey Club. That was the same period when the Sydney Hockey Association was formed. The first president of the Ryde Hunters Hill District Hockey Club was Huey Cullen. And during that period, the 50s and 60s, Ryde had a very strong first grade team as well as club, winning the first grade premiership in 1961 as well as the second grade premiership. They also had numerous state players. In 1970, the Gladesville Hockey Club joined the Ryde Hunters Hill District Hockey Club to bring together two very strong clubs to strengthen the existing foundation. Then in 1980, the Women's Club formally joined the Ryde Hunters Hill District Hockey Club, which is effectively the structure we have to this present day. The first artificial turf in Sydney was at Homebush. All top-level grades were played there for many years through to the late 80s. It was really important for us to get our own ground, so we spent a number of years, late 80s and early 90s, searching for the right site and also looking for funding. We pulled up one of the old turfs from Homebush. It was 6,000 square metres in the early 90s, and that was eventually laid here in 93 as our first ground. We needed to do that to make the numbers work. The ground was officially opened in 1994. As you can see, it's not an easy site. The hundreds of hours of quantity surveying, digging, earthworks that went on here, as well as other efforts by club members. This was originally part of a school site. This site is 1.3 hectares and the school site is 5 hectares in size. We partnered with the school in the early part before the school closed down 15 years ago. But the club hasn't rested on its laurels. In addition to the hard work that was done in launching the facility, the club has added the amenities in 1997, as well as an electronic scoreboard and international standard lights. The Hockey Centre was named after Keith Thompson in recognition for his 50 years work with the club as a life member, player and publicity officer, as well as other numerous management roles. Keith was a local legend and known to everybody. We're sure he'd be as proud as punch to know that there's been over 10,000 games played at this ground over the last 20 years. And his stick, the White Ghost, which he held with great esteem over the many years, takes pride of place in our club. The Keith Thompson Hockey Centre was used as a training facility during the 2000 Sydney Olympics. Numerous international teams trained here during that period, including England, Spain and Germany. Because of our proximity, we were the only other training facility used for hockey during the Sydney Olympics. Ryde Hockey is approaching its 30th year in the premier competition. During that period, we have had a number of high-level representative players play for the club. That includes people like Andrew Dean, Andrew Stewart, Matt Smith, the Mackay brothers, Luke and Matt, Cole Manning, who was leading goal scorer for the Sydney competition on numerous occasions, winning the Brian Booth Award. Also including Max Caldas, the Argentinian international who's now the incumbent Olympic champion coach for the female Dutch team. Other international players to play for us include Javed Pinwar, a leading Pakistani player that was discovered by one of our club scouts, Steve Merchant. We also have, on the women's side of things, had the Tower twins play for us, Kristen and Julie Towers, both internationally renowned players. as well as Jade Close, who played in the London Olympics. In current day, our stocks have never been stronger, with over 30 players at representative level across men, women's, juniors and veterans. That includes Tom Craig and Aaron Kershaw, who are representing Australia later on this year in the Under-21s Junior World Cup in India. We also have Kirsten Pearce and Shelley Pole, who will be playing for New South Wales throughout this year. Ryde continues to build off its strong traditions and is a very successful club. That success can be attributed to a number of factors, and that includes strong leadership. Maury Dawson has been president of the club for nearly 30 years now. Andrew Ramsey has been treasurer of the club for 25 years. That has provided a stable structure for the club. In addition to that, we've got a strong management structure below them that includes a lot of young people that get involved. The club has been very good at putting the right person in the right place at the right time, particularly when there's been substantial work that needed to be done. That includes the laying of the turf, which happens every 7 years. That is a major undertaking, but it's also a chance for others in the next generation to contribute. Another important aspect for us is that we stay relevant for the community. The ground is not just for hockey, as we use it for touch football and soccer and other events. We recently had a soccer clinic here at the ground that was for an academy squad over the school holidays. Tomorrow, we've got soccer and touch football played here by local business. So it's very important that we engage with the community as well. In addition to strong leadership, the club has been a very family-orientated club, and that includes huge involvements from a number of families, particularly the Coxes, the Cullens, the Mackays, the Goosakos, and numerous others. Those families now are at third and fourth generation in terms of their involvement with the club. The club has great relationships with local businesses, including Foxtel, local media, the TWT, local council, the state government, particularly Sports Minister Graham Annesley, who was instrumental in us securing a release of our ground recently, federal government, including John Howard, who was patron of the club for many years, and John Alexander, who is our local member. The club has over 400 playing members across 35 teams, with men, women, juniors and veterans. We have players that have played from the age of 4 all the way through to their late 60s. We've got a couple of club members that have played over 800 senior games. Success on the field is not the only thing that matters to the club. Equally important is having fun. Ryde is considered a very social club, with numerous events conducted throughout the year. Those events include trivia nights, back to Ryde nights and other fun gatherings. Why don't you drop by sometime, watch a game, have a drink, or maybe even have a hit. In the meantime, check us out on www.rydehockey.com.au.